All right, we are live now. Thank you so much once again for joining us. It's a great pleasure to welcome you to another edition of the Forestry Roundtable. This is the November edition, and we are so pleased and honored to have every one of you on board. Thank you for always believing in what we do, and we are happy that we are reaching many people, a lot of people, as a result of this event. And today we'll be discussing the business of forestry. And looking at the trend of things, we discovered over the years that even a lot of young foresters or a lot of forestry students, after their degrees, forestry degrees, probably bachelor's, master's degree, what is next in line of action for them? While a lot of people focus on government jobs, especially in Africa, and it's unfortunate that these jobs are not there. These jobs are not there, to be frank. A lot of people there are not living. Of course, there are no spaces. That's just the truth. Even the employment rate is quite low. And then this made us think of some other areas, which is very important. I mean, entrepreneurship. And this is one aspect that we as foresters should look into. We as young foresters should look into, because entrepreneurship is something that we must look into. Of course, it might not be in vogue in Africa. It might not be in vogue in Africa, but then outside Africa, I know a lot of people who are forest, or can we call them forestpreneurs? If there's anything like that. Okay, before we move on fully into our discussion today, I would like to welcome my good friend, Meshach, so we can have his take, then we kickstart. Meshach, you are welcome.
Yeah, all right, guys. Hope you're all doing great. Yeah, my name is Meshach, like Olaluwa said, and I'm a forestry student. Okay, still a forestry student, proceeding to the environmental part of forestry, where I currently study environmental science, specifically majoring in ecosystem management, with the application of digital technology in environmental management specifically. So that is who I am. And when it comes to the business of forestry, I personally can state several, right, business of forestry, and it will blow our minds that we may not have been thinking in that direction initially. And as we have this conversation and move it forward, we're going to be seeing through to those areas that we could put our energy in and become entrepreneurs, self-sustaining ourselves and making wealth out of the knowledge we've built, of the knowledge we've acquired right from the start of our forestry career. Yep. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Meshach. Like I was saying the other time, that it is important for us as foresters to look into the entrepreneurship aspect of forestry, which we call the business of forestry. You know, as much as we all want to be formal, we all want to have white collar jobs and work in offices, we must also think of one aspect of forestry that is very, very important. You know, we must learn to be business owners. We must learn to create wealth and to create business out of forestry. This is important. You know, in Nigeria, we have, of course, a lot of people are not fully into this. Apart from the loggers, you might not want to see, you might not see individuals who are major in this area. And of course, you know, one thing that even comes to mind now when you talk of the business of forestry, like creating wealth out of forestry, it's numerous and diverse. And as much as you want to look at the tree part, you must also consider the non-timber forest product part too, which are also resources that can be obtained from the forest. And I think these things are important, that we should look into them. You know, the direct values that we can get from the forest, and some of the indirect values that are in form of probably provisional services, and as well some other services that we can get from the forest. And it is important that we put sustainability into practice when you talk of the business, you know, because you don't want to ruin your forest. You don't want to bring everything down in a day because you want to make wealth, because you want to create jobs. You don't want to bring your forest down. It is important that we put sustainability into place when we talk of business in forestry. I think this is important. I would like to call on Alex to share his take on this while we still await our guests. Alex, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Good afternoon, every one of us. I am glad to be in this meeting. And yes, I'm going to be making a presentation, and a short presentation anyway. It's kind of a recycled presentation from a similar topic at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, where I'm local committee, when I was invited to speak during my tenure as a Northern African regional representative. It's about business and forests. Let's take a look. Okay. Okay. Please, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, yes. I first have to acknowledge that this presentation is kind of recycled, and it was made in 2019, and I had no time to cross-check it. So let's go to business. And sometimes ago in 2019, there was the Futana lecture, and the title was Tapping into Nigeria Forest Wealth. So I wrote this, I made this presentation then. I think to about 400 students or more at the T.I. Francis auditorium. The Futa guys know it better. So the title of the presentation is The Millionaire Young Foresters, Tapping into Nigeria Forest Wealth. And I made this presentation at, it was also made at the NSEC conference, which concurrently held at that time in April 26, 2019. Yes, I talked about IFSA. I think I will skip this IFSA part and go to now the young men in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Africa, as well as Nigeria population, is filled with a vibrant young generation of people under 40 years. And as of today, people under 40 years make up more than 60% of the African continent. And this makes Africa the youngest continent in the world. That is, we are the one who have the highest number of young people in proportional level. And what this means is that we have a vibrant population of people who can think and act creatively and innovatively to create the continent we desire. The long-term passion of the African Union is to create an Africa we desire. When we now talk about the young people in the forestry sector and in any other sector, we have those who are we are actually faced with a lot of challenges in growing and making our talent show forth. Many are hiding their talents and in the face of problems. And many complain about the situation around them and do nothing other than complaining. But I'm going to show us that these same young men, we have some people who have put their talent to use and are just shining examples of youth in forestry and environmental sciences. Mr. Oyasimota today, we've not been able to see, get in touch with him, but he's really one of the people. Sorry. Okay, can I continue? Yes. So when we look at forestry, he's really one of the people that is a shining example. He studied and he put his knowledge to practice. And it's not the only one. There are many other people in the country and in the continent of Africa who have looked at the business side of forestry. So when I look at young people, I see people who see challenges as opportunities and tapped into them. And I would say that some write, some act, some organize, and some speak and engage, some clap up or share up. And I think the worst category are those who does nothing at all. There are some people that no matter what others does, no matter what is done, no matter what is going on, even they cannot clap or even a single thumb up they will not give. So I think that is the worst category. Now, when we look at in the Nigeria case, for example, we produce quite a lot of students. As at 2019, we have 34 universities. As at 2021 that I speak now, we have about 41 universities offering forestry degree. Forestry sciences at the national diploma level. And you may want to look at it that if as at 2019, we have about 6,000 students, 6,000 university students studying forestry, and at least 1,000 of them graduate in 2019, and maybe another 1,000 graduate in 2020. And this 6,000 is quite low, and I would explain why. As at the time I made this PowerPoint, it was in April 2019. And by June 2019, I was at the Federal University of Agric Macaulay, and I was told that the university have roughly 1,000 undergraduate forestry students. In the Faculty of Forestry and Natural Resources Management, they have 3 departments of forestry. So the students are divided into these 3 departments. And I was so shocked and surprised that a single university has about 1,000 students. Now, if we do the math, look at the volume of people or students that will turn out, and the job opportunities are still always scarce and limited. So I estimated at least about 2,500 OND and HND students, that is those who study in the Polytechnic, will be graduating, and at least another 1,000 will be graduating in 2019. So that's about 2,000. Now, the questions that matters as at then is that what would the estimated 2,000 forestry science graduates of 2019 be doing after graduation? Yes, it's not a rosy thing to go to a university and spend 5 years. One, maybe you didn't even wanted to study forestry. Now you are finished studying forestry and you're trying to find a job and you couldn't find any. So you were like, okay, why did I go to school? So I had this question that what would a student be doing? Or are there any ready-made jobs for this estimated 2,000 undergraduate foresters in Nigeria in 2019? So I was concerned that, is there any ready-made job? Is the curriculum enough to kind of push us into a kind of ready-made job? Does the job even exist? And I come to the point that, yes, as fresh students, we all ask that what can this forestry offer me, or where can I work as a forester? So, but there is one thing that are common, is that you can work in government, private, international organizations, non-governmental organizations, and there is also what I termed as the hidden forestry opportunities. Why do I call them hidden? Is that most times those who go to the university, who, like me, who have studied forestry, do not look at the entrepreneurship side of forestry. We tend to only look at the research and the science part of forestry. But there is quite a lot of money hidden in the forest, and it is for those who will search for them. And when I look at this, I look at those who are involved in environmental restoration and awareness. The book that we have been publicizing for quite some time now, one of the story of the person that was there, that is a Mobola. She created a nursery business of her own, and from there she was able to make her own income. Then we now have forestry business in full. In this forestry business, we have those involved in full business of timber or non-timber forest products. If you check around you, if you go around you, you possibly find some sawmills. You will see that most times those who are in charge of these sawmills are not those who have gone to school to study forestry. Those who are in charge of the furniture business in your area didn't go to the university to study forestry. Those who are making a lot of money from honey production, from mushroom production, from beekeeping, from anything forestry, most times and in many occasions, they are not people who have studied forestry. And I'm thinking that we should look at this aspect more and see how to explore these options. If you look at it, those who cut down our wood and we blame for making charcoals, they did not study forestry. They're not aware about all this restoration, all these our grammars that we blow that we need to conserve. Yes, we can make sustainable business out of forestry. There's also the research and project execution, and there are other lots more. So I'll give some foreign examples and I'll give some local examples. I read a book called Democratizing Forest Business. It's published by the International Institute for Economic Development, IAEED. So the name of that group there was the Yebuama Union of Non-Timber Forest Products Producers. And there was a story that really caught my attention there. The story is that of Joseph Tambinga. According to the story, or according to the book, he was educated to the third grade level and he was unable to send an email even on his own. But despite this fact, this man taught himself on how to nurse and plant trees. And eventually, he has become leader over about 1,000 individuals, 520 women, and 500 men from 120 at start. Then I wonder, this is somebody who have very limited education. This is somebody who is not even able to compose and send an email on his own. Now, but this man called Joseph Tambinga, he has sold baobab fruit powders at 150% higher than the national price. They built a union processing center in Buama. This story, Joseph Tambinga, I've forgotten which country this story came from, but it's from an African country. So then built a union and also supply students with school equipment and stationery. So I was really motivated that, wow, someone who never can, who have this limitation. Now there is some other group of people called group of young people in village of Taya. I read about this story in one of the CTA publications talking about forestry and payment for ecosystem services. So this group, they are a group of young people. At some point in their life, they made an investment to start a banana plantation to increase their income. And unknowingly or unintentionally, some people set up fires into nearby places to the plantation, and the banana plantation was ruined. So when they discovered this, instead of them to fight back, they quite did not do so. They rather begin to sensitize their community about reforestation, about forestry, about reducing emissions. And this set of young people, they planted about 110 hectares of orchard on fallow land. That's roughly 1/6 of the University of Ilorin teak plantation. In Ilorin teak plantation is roughly 660 hectares. Now they set up a green financing initiative and they also created 15 new green jobs. Then the average income of villagers increased fourfold. Publications of technical guide, recipe, books, and children's series were also published. Now, when we go to Kenya, I read of this Kenya story from this same book, yes. Kakamenga Environmental Education Program. There's something, they perceived forest degradation going on in their area, and more than they perceive forest degradation going on in their area. And they wanted to contribute and say, oh, yes, we are just ordinary 5 forest guard, and what can we do? but they felt they can do something. And these guys, they come together, and before you know, more than 160 members who financially contribute to the organizations. So they create an organization, and that organization have about 160 members. And this helped them to create an ecotourism site. And the visitors increased from 900 in 1999 to over 6,000 in 2006. And they specially trained 20 tourist guides and complete. They also involved in community development, gift shop, beekeeping business. Then they are also helping to restore the forest from degradation to sustainable resource source. Now I give two local examples. I have more now that I can still give, but I give this one. This was Governor Buka Mohammed in 2018. He mentioned that, yes, he's a student of forestry at the University of Maiduguri, and forestry is a new course in his area, according to him. Then he established a conservation forum with friends from environmental sciences. They levied and they tasked themselves and provided money to fund this kind of organization. And promoting conservation among education among rural dwellers, they also established conservation club in some secondary schools, which in turn established botanical gardens. This stories was shared via the Ifsa Northern African WhatsApp group in January 2019. I talk of Rashid Inuwa, and this story was shared to me while I was conducting the Global Outlook on Forest Education research in Nigeria. He graduated with a Bachelor's of Forestry from the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto State in Nigeria in 2010. He helped to establish a tree nursery business at that, and currently with 3 full-time employees, with 3 employees at the time he established it, but currently have over 13 people working under him. That was as at April 2019. Then he has trade seedlings for government, for private individuals, and making profit from the sales. He has also encouraged youth to undergo tertiary education in forestry sciences through his enterprise. The business is legally registered as Inuwat Daki and Sons Investment. You may want to wonder that, okay, he has a business, but he's also a lecturer in the Department of Forestry and Wildlife at the Bayero University, Kano. And these are kind of people that we need. Now, to round it up or sum it up, what are the kind of young men we need in forestry this time around? We need those who are critical thinkers, those who are passionate about what they do, those who are determined, intelligent, purposeful, and diligent. Yes, many people still will ask and say, are there any prospects for studying forestry? Yes, there are, and there are many, but these are only for those who can discern them early. So I would always advise students and young people to look at the part of forestry which they're interested in, and they should have to decide early, and they can start early as well as succeed early enough. For me, I think the future belongs to those who can perceive and prepare for them. I want to say thank you to Mesak and to Mr. Israel for giving me this wonderful opportunity, as well as the entire ISA team. I believe that choices have consequences, but I have chosen to be a fulfilled forester. Thank you for listening. So here is the reference of some of the stories cited, and you can find these publications online. And also, I need to inform us that after this date, early this year too, the Joint Ayufo Task Force on Forest Education was involved in the publication of a guide on forest entrepreneurship. You can search for it on Ayufo website, and it's locally, it's freely available to download. And that is all I have for now. Thank you so much.
Oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Alex, for that great presentation. In fact, it was a eye-opening one, and I must say I've learned so much. Okay, thank you. I'd like to, please, if you have any question or anything to add, please don't forget we want, this is a roundtable discussion, and we welcome every idea, initiative, and probably any innovation that is coming to your mind right now. Please feel free to share them, and you can be sure that your information is in safe hands. All right. Moving forward, I'd like to welcome Meshach, as he'll be discussing some of he'll be talking on the service business in forestry, some of the service business in forestry. Meshach,
Yeah.
you are welcome.
Thanks, guys. I'm more into the environmental part of forestry, more into how forest, trees, plants, and all can be high contributors to environmental sustainability. And that is why the service business of forestry is my area of interest, that when I am ready and I have the basic fund to start a business in forestry, I'm going to start one of these three businesses in full because I really like them and they are the kind of things I really like to do. Number one of them is EIA Consultant Agency, EIA Consultancy Agency. Okay, EIA, that's Environmental Impact Assessment Consultancy Agency. All right, it's an aspect that not a lot of people are looking at. Today, we see that every of the EIA consultancy project, they are always going to lecturers, university lecturers, they are going to non-environmentalists, they are going to, they are going to random people, and that is why you see that many of the environmental impact assessments done in Nigeria, I don't want to say they go wrong, because at the end, you see they do EIA for a project, they certify the project, and at the end, you see that that same project is contributing negatively to the environment. It is because these things are not quite done well. All right, you can't even hold a specific person to it. But by the time there's an agency that specializes on that, quantity surveying experts, they need environmental impact assessment consultants. Architects, they need environmental impact assessment consultants. Government, they need environmental impact assessment consultants. Like any project, either building, company, sawmills, establishment of stadium, anything that we just need to do to alter the current state of the environment is a business for an environmental impact assessment consultancy agency. That is a kind of business on its own. All right, I won't be able to drill more into that. It's a thing you can search online, how to have an EIA consultancy agency. That is one. The second one is Environmental Information Consultancy Agency. Environmental Information Consultancy Agency, where all you just deal with is data. All you just deal with is data. It's a project that you can start with 0 naira. 0 naira, I mean, it's a company you can start with 0 naira. No kobo to start it. No kobo to start it. It is why I'm saying it's going to be the area I'm going to major in by the time I have time on my hands to be able to do that. You don't have to spend zero. I'm going to be telling you things you need to acquire to be able to do one of these things I'm talking about. Environmental Information Consultancy Agency. Count Nigeria, just type Google, just go to Google and type Environmental Information Consultancy Agency. Check the list that is going to give you which one if we have any sustainable one that is existing in Nigeria. I doubt if there are many of them, and it's a big gap. It's a huge gap. Today, now you want to do your research on maybe a place. Maybe you want to get the map of a place and everything and all. You have to rely on several foreign data sets. Some of these data sets are not well digitized because a lot of things are missing. A lot of information are missing because they are not digitized locally. That was why we had things like OpenStreetMap, where they encourage local people to keep digitizing environment all over again. There are, of course, quantitative data that you gather about the environment. There are participatory data that you gather about the environment. And this data can be used to make great decisions. You just store them in your data bank. You just store them in your data bank, and you can sell this data. You can sell this data. You can sell it. You can make a big business out of it. Hire people, continue to build from there. Yeah, because you're an environmental impact consultant, environmental information consultancy agency, you are able to hire a GIS expert as one of your staffs. You're able to hire a data analyst. You are able to hire data engineers. You are able to hire software developers, because like one of that is even lacking in the environmental sciences, natural sciences, are softwares to make those jobs easy. To make those jobs easy, we lack a lot of software. Now, for environmental assessment and monitoring, the number of softwares that could do the real job without strong limitations, they are very few. You have Invest, you have Areas, you have many of these software, you have i3, Echo Survey, those kind of software. Yeah, they are functioning, but they are not enough. We need more. We need more of those things. And as an environmental information company or an agency, you can invest more in hiring software engineers or building teams that could build this software, and you make your money on automation. You can, it could be even be a small startup that is making those changes little by little. That's part of the service business that you can do. And you can be only be able to do those things very well because of your knowledge of forestry, because forestry is an integrated environment, anything, the environment, water, everything, because everything is a system and they are interconnected with one another. And that is why that is a strong business. You can't finish exploring that. You can't finish exploring that. We have agencies today, Water and Climate Coalition, where what they just do is to see how they could handle the issue of water and climate. We have other associations that they are creating. We have the Ecosystem Services Partnership, where they have several thematic groups that work on. We have the mapping, we have the data thematic group. We just have several of them. It shows that there are plenty gaps that we are not filling in this area. Not everybody will own a nursery necessarily. You understand? But nursery business, when it is done well with the right investment, it is huge. And now, because everything is tending towards green, now one of the encouragement now is green infrastructure. And green infrastructure alone is a complete business on its own, where we have things like green roofs, we have things like green walls. All right, we have things like green walls. So that one now, I'll call it the landscape design business. The landscape design business. The landscape design business is another business that in Africa, it is not top notch. It is not a thing we have really invested our energy in. Some of the landscape that we even do in Akure, in many of these, sometimes we even hire foreign companies to come and help us implement those solutions, because we don't really have local companies that are really good, that really know what they are. They're like, we only have a few of them that could really do this job in depth. Just go to Google, search for landscape design companies in Nigeria. I'm not saying they are not existing, but you will find most of them probably, let's say, Lagos dominated, or probably Abuja dominated, or maybe Akwa Ibom or Port Harcourt dominated. But there's so less. There's so less that they can do. Under landscape design, so we have things like the interior designs, such as the biophilic designs and everything. These things are whole forestry business that somebody could start. But how can you now engage yourself in all these things? The thing here is that, let me not lie to you, if you just rely on the basic or the fundamental knowledge that has been given to you in class, you won't go far, or may not go far, with that knowledge. That is why immediately you graduate, you spend, especially for those that are undergraduates, immediately you graduate, or while you are still in school now, you spend your extra knowledge on your extra time, or even sacrifice part of the time you have to gain additional skills, additional certification. You cannot become an AIA consultant without being certified for it. There's a body that will certify you. There are other certifications that you get as an environmentalist before you could be able to operate, before government could recognize it, before you could be able to say you want to get contract in that area. You will need additional certifications. Another thing you will need is additional skill. For example, if an environmental information, at least you should know one of the digital tools for that is being used to gather data so that they can be analyzed and information can be provided to the people. You need to know maybe GIS, you need to know data tool, either Python, data analytics tools such as Tableau, Power BI, and some database relational tools such as SQL. You need to know like what we call SQL. You need to know one of those things. You need to have that as a core skill that you add, even though you are applying it in the field of forestry. You can be able to now say, okay, it is not like I want to do this thing on my own. Let me hire people to do it for me. All right. Under the landscape design business, you need to acquire skill in the area of modeling, environmental modeling. I'm talking about design modeling now, not equational modeling in terms of analysis now. I'm talking about where you maybe a project is to be done in an environment. You can be able to model that environment in a design and be able to access the impact in the form of, okay, if we put trees here, if we put if we allow the water in this area to flow in this direction, if we allow the drainage here to be connected to another drainage here, you see, those kind of things, you will need additional skill. You need to have design skill. There are softwares that you can use. Basically, you have Illustrator, you need skills like Photoshop skill. Under that, you even need GIS skill to be able to model the environment accurately. So it is not a game of mediocrity. It is not a game of complacency. It is a game of putting in the right energy, adding the right knowledge. The reason is that people see business that can be doing part of forestry in the area of planting alone. Yeah, if you are doing green walls, there are strategies with which you plant trees for green walls. If you are doing green roofs, there are strategies with which you do green roof. Okay, we classify all those ones under urban forestry and all. There's any building that we have green roof, the strategy they use in making that building foundation from scratch, how they roof the building is different from what they do to a normal building. You understand? So when a country I want us to study, or two countries I want us to study countries like Singapore and study countries like Canada. Let us look at how they are dealing with their green infrastructure and everything. When you study that, you read papers, academic papers, you read reports. Singapore says that their vision is to be the greenest city by 2030, and they are putting all their effort into that direction. So it's a lot if you are ready to spend ourselves to acquire this knowledge so that everything will be useful together. But the normal fundamental knowledge that you get, it is just like in every course. As a civil engineer, you cannot just carry the basic thing you've been taught in the 5 years of civil engineering and you say you want to start a civil engineering company. It is not possible. You are going to cause a disaster. You cannot say you're a mechanical engineer, like before you graduate, it will be a disaster. That is why some of them go to, that's why Korean will not certify you when you're in 500 level as a certified engineer. You need field experience. You understand? You can now say, okay, if this is the area I want to go on, if I want to have a landscape design agency, I want to know more about landscape design. It's not necessary that you want to do a master's in landscape design. Find a landscape design company, you can intern with them. Even if they are not paying you, you can say you are doing internship for free so that you can really learn the trade secret and learn how it is done. Then apply that knowledge in the business you want to do. But you cannot just sit down and say there's a job. There's no job for any profession, any kind of profession we want to mention in Africa. If you want to say you want to work in NNPC, if you like study mechanical engineering, study all the kind of engineering. Someone that has a father or somebody who could, speak for them, even though they study medicine and surgery, they could become NNPC staff. It's a big issue that we need to begin to, deal with as individuals, depending on how we are ready to spend ourselves, how we are ready to invest in ourselves to be able to get this done. But if we are complacent, if we embrace mediocrity, we will not be able to get things done in the profession that we've chosen. And that is the reality that I want to communicate. So I think I said too much. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Meshach, for that. Thank you for opening our eyes to some of the services, some of the business services in forestry. It was a great one from you. And thank you so much for bringing that to our notice and to our information too. Thank you. All right. Before I move on too, I'd like to welcome Azan. Azan, can you share your thoughts on what we are discussing today?
Yeah. Hello guys, my name is Azan Adigunwa Okpayemi. I'm talking from the Netherlands. I'm a student currently in Van or University of Applied Sciences. So my own thought about this particular program is just to have a.
Sorry, Azan, can we have your camera a bit down so that we're only seeing your edge region. Okay, great.
Yeah, is to have a just quick reflection about how I have been developing myself regarding forest business, right? I mean business in forestry. So my reflection is dates back to when I was doing this industrial training program in Nigeria around 2015, 2016. I think I learned about business in forestry through a man called Bisrod Dikwe in Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State. The man introduced us to the way we can really use trees to plant, to generate wealth for ourselves. And I partook in one particular project with the man, with my group then. We developed a feasibility study of around 1 million, 1 million seedling of tetraptera. They call it Ariden. That's the Yoruba name for that tree species. And we gave the man, and our group was like, wow, you have really done a great job. Thank you so much. And the man used it afterwards then. So I became aware that one can really tap into his or her ideas and bring out note or research notes that we can use this thing for this particular stuff so that we can really generate wealth for ourselves to increase our economic returns. And then during my IT again, in Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, my group partook in another project in the Sustainable Forest Management section. And we produced, what's the name of this? Yeah, Backyard Biglobusa. They call it Iru. Sorry for my other African student or other African participants. I don't really understand the other language for that Iru, but they call it locust beans. LOCUST BEANS, locust beans. So the locust beans, we produce it, and where I was staying then, my auntie used to, I'm sorry for making it domestic now. My auntie used to collect the seedling from me, and then she encouraged me to be producing it. She encouraged me to be producing it too within the house. So we used to export it to Spain, Italy, and France. Then, and she generates some money from it. So can we now see that we implemented community-based aspect of forestry into the forest aspect, where we generate wealth through the non-timber forest product called locust beans. And it really helped us then, because there was even scarcity of food around that time during these security clashes in Ibadan then in Oyo State. So we could really generate some money for ourselves in the house, and we live sustainably then. So another thing is, when I was now in 500 level in school, there was a popular man, we already know the man, Professor Akindele. So he told us in a forum like that, our end of the year forum, that we should learn how to sell ourselves. We should learn how to not throw it back. He instructed us that don't throw anything back. So when I graduated, I found myself as a graduate now, what do I do? So I said, I will not throw it back. I had to hold on to that statement, to that fact, that I will never hold anything back again in my life. What do I mean by this throwing it back? Don't throw it back is that when they say, can you do this as a forester? Don't say you don't know how to do it, because the power of strong belief system that you have, that my brain, my head can really do anything for me if I can be able to think, if I can be able to navigate within my system, that I can really achieve this particular thing. So the man said that we should not be throwing ourselves back. So I went to serve in Kaduna State Then over there, when I finish my service, I engage in different community projects in the ministry. I engage in this Red Plus project, UNDP project, FAO project, Freelia project, and all these modern art climate projects. I use my artistry design. So this is another aspect. We can tap into our talent, according to what Meshach said earlier, that no, according to this, I noticed this the aspect in one of the slides that Alex presented the other time, that about the Bible, that talk about we have hidden talents in us. So we need to explore. We need to really think beyond what can we do. I used to draw circular saw machine. I used to draw, if some of my friends here could remember, I used to draw various machines for students. And so I believe that I can still focus. I can still use my artistry talents to get something for myself to help my people. So in the ministry, I will just design the map for the modern art climate. Then the commissioner will see it. Oh, you have done this again. What are you trying to do? So all those things were creating value for me. So and Albert Einstein said that don't be a man of success first, but you just try to be a man of value. So I hope we are getting the link, how I'm interrelating all these aspects with each other now. So
yeah.
As a forest, as a business owner, as a business endowed someone, you have to think about how can you create value for yourself. And by creating value for yourself, you are developing yourself, you are giving yourself head side, you are thinking out that what is after the shadow, what is after the corner, I can really focus on it. So all those experiences gave me opportunities, gave me international opportunities. I used to go to conference in Nasarawa State. I used to, all these interrelated states in Nigeria, I used to, and this recent document of Red Cross in Nigeria about Kaduna State, I single-handedly developed the project for them, the work plan, so everything. I did not throw it back that so far I'm not getting immediate economic return. I should just throw everything back there. I cannot do it. So I use my initiative. I encourage people to do that too. All my corporate members all my fellow corp members, then we used to do everything together. So about tech, and they call it tech. That's the short form because people don't really care about pronouncing it as technology. So the aspect of incorporating technology with forestry is very good nowadays, thinking beyond, right? So as a forest business endowed personnel, so we can really tap into forestry too, we can really tap into technology too. And where I will just go with the two aspects that I first, like if we can tap into, is the use of light detection and ranging. They call it LIDAR. They apply it in GIS to predict wildlife, and to predict wildfires in the forest. All these fire outbreaks that exist in the tropics and in the temperate region. So they use it too. And then another aspect is the use of drone, application of drone science. If you can be using drone to I don't know, Meshach, are you there? Hello, Meshach.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe you did not talk about drone when you were presenting your... simplify it so that I will not make everything...
Okay.
The aspect of drone is really...
All right. One of the skill I would like anybody who's really interested in remote sensing, GIS, and all to get is drone piloting. All right. I'm looking forward to when I go for my exchange semester in Believing God, sometimes in Europe, next semester, I'll be taking my certification there on drone piloting. Now, the interesting about drone piloting is that we have so few number of people. I'm not talking about those people that do it in parties to just snap people, that they just fly that small drone. I'm talking about drones that are sensor-based drone, not just camera to capture this thing. Sensor-based drone piloting certification is high. Per project, if you have a drone piloting organization, just as a business on its own, you can make a lot whenever projects are to be mapped. even up to agricultural farms, land, everything mapping. There are several sensors that they could attach, but the most common one is the light detection and ranging. All right, which is a light detection and ranging technology that helps to acquire information about the environment, forest area, and all. Another thing drone piloting does is for drone planting, okay, where we use drones for tree planting. Okay, the drone responds to coordinate systems, all right, and the drone uses a gun shooting mechanism where, as you pilot the drone, when it gets to a specific coordinate, we're supposed to release the seed, you release it and it shoots the seed into the drone. And just like the way eggshells are, and they open up for the seed to, for soil to cover the area, that we plant the seed. So there's drone planting, there's drone mapping. It's a lot. It's an unexplored area, especially in Nigeria and even in Africa at large. People that are making use of that advantage are people that are doing photography, cinematography, and all. But these things are highly useful in natural resource management as a whole. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Meshach. Azan, are you done before I move on to the next person?
Yeah, I think I'm done now. I think I'm done.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, brother.
Yep.
Thank you. Right now, before I call Dr. Mrs. Sadiku, who is a wood lecturer from the University of Ilorin, I would like to call on my brother, Israel Daramoye, to share his thoughts. He's a social forester and he's a professional. He's somebody who is practicing and an experienced person too. I would like to welcome him to share his thoughts on some of the things we could do, or anyone who is going to access this video by the end of this meeting could do to have more money. You're welcome, sir. Please, can you unmute yourself?
Okay, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be with everybody. I'm very sorry that I joined a bit late. Interestingly, I think I heard Misha talking about certification. I really did not know much about that, but interestingly, I joined late because we have just had our close-out meeting for our RSPO certification. For the past week, we have been on RSPO certification. RSPO is Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, and we have been in this certification process for the past 1 week. I mean, for the past 3 years. Of course, we have social issues, we have social conflicts and all that has denied us certification, and we are hoping that of course, we have some critical non-compliance. We hope to close them. For this session, I was very interested because my Oga, Mr. I don't know if he's still on, Mr. Ugi. I don't know if he's still on. He left.
No. Yeah. No, you can just continue. It's not.
Oh, okay. He left already because I remember that sometimes last year we had a discussion on certification, because I know that he's been very busy with that, trying to sell certified products, agri products across West Africa. And I luckily for me too, I also had a certification project in Maradi in Nigeria Republic, 2016, 2017, and he also dealt with tiger nut sometime. Now to the question Israel asked me is people that will listen to this hereafter, what can they do to make some money in forest trade? Or
yeah.
Is that a question? Okay.
Yep.
Well, it's a very interesting question, because the challenge that we have now is that it's difficult for people, youths, young foresters, to really get involved in this business, apart from joining companies that are involved in it already, let's say logging companies, and you don't get much of that in Nigeria. I think where you can get involved in that is in Liberia, in Cameroon, in some parts of Sierra Leone. But for us to get involved in this, I'm afraid at this level, you cannot get actively involved at this level because, okay, let's talk about the various aspects through which you can get involved. You can get involved by working with individuals that deal with this, by helping them to market some of these products. You can also get involved by doing what we call smallholders. Being smallholder farmers is one option. You can also get involved by being agents in sourcing agents. You get it now? You can make money through that. That's how can you be that is by you helping people to source sustainably, not unsustainably this time around. Help them to source, help companies, help people to source for forest product sustainably as middlemen. How can you do that? You go on grant to forest, you go on grant to companies, and then you speak with these rural people that have access to, for instance, let's talk of NTFPs. I know that if you go to forest around, we have local communities, you have people, majorly women, that depend on fetching NTFPs and selling it at the local markets. They get very low value for that, and that could barely sustain them. So you could reach out to them and then strike deals with them, tell them you can collect these NTFPs, then I can help you take it to bigger companies, take it to bigger markets, and then you get value for that. And then with transparency, you can return proceeds to them. Of course, they are going to have agents that will follow you, but I think what you are doing for them is to help them get a sure source for their product, for the forest product, and at the same time help them to negotiate good price. You can do that. I was also saying that that is responsible. We can call that responsible sourcing. It's one level with which we can start. And the interesting thing there is that you do not need a big project. You do not need a big funding. You do not need one big thing to be able to do that. It starts from your will. When you have that will and you try to identify, you go there, you identify the source, you can connect. That is you. And then another thing is smallholders. What can you do with that is for you to identify farmers who are willing to go into, I don't know which side now, which is going to be foresters. I mean, people that are willing to establish forest or whatsoever products that are linked to forestry. You identify the farmers, you can help them get trained, and then help them to secure lands, and they plant and they harvest. They will call them smallholders, I don't know, and then you link them. These are ways by which we can get involved. Other than these two, I do not have in my head now whichever way, because we are trying to see how we can bridge the gap between being real practitioners, which for us in this part of the world is up there, to get real practitioners, and it's very difficult. So it's for us to see how we can come in the middle and get ourselves involvement. But one key word as I close that I'm going to add is that it has to be sustainable. It has to be sustainable. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Israel, for that. Thank you for opening our eyes to that area. And I must say that one thing we can also leverage on, like you said, connecting with local people, sourcing for
NTFPs,
NTFPs from them. And I also think also having a leverage outside abroad, like working as a middleman, can also be something, because although right now I don't know the export policy, how the export policy of Nigeria is. But then I think we have some people still exporting NTFPs outside the country, and they are making cool money from it. I think what we just need is a sure link over there, and some other processes that involve getting some of these NTFPs and some other materials, or some other stuffs you want to export. So I think that's a great one.
Sorry, let me add to that just very quickly. In the foreign market, if you cannot really describe to them the value that they are getting, whatsoever medicinal value, whatsoever value they are getting from whatsoever, it's very difficult for them to trust you and to patronize you. So I think with our knowledge of forestry in the class, you already have, and with your reading wide, you already have some values, and you are able to demonstrate these are the values that this product is going to have. And please don't forget to package. You don't get it raw. You have to package it in a way. Part of your packaging will be how you bag it or whichever way. And another packaging is how you are able to express with all convincingly to say, this is the medicinal value of this. This is the medicinal value of this. And to be able to build trust. To build trust from it is also very important. Just to add that. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that. Right now, before we wrap up, I'd like to call on Dr. Mrs. Sadiku. She's a wood specialist. I think she's online. Wood specialist from the University of Ilorin.
Yeah, I'm online.
You are welcome, ma.
You're welcome, ma. You're welcome, ma.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much. And I do love all your programs, all your meetings. That's why for me to miss it, I can't just afford to miss any of your meetings. But most time, network can be so funny that at least maybe disallowing me from enjoying the meeting. But today it's like the network is a bit stable. So from my end here, I think too many people, they believe that forestry is just guarding the forest or measuring trees and the like. But there are many things that somebody can actually benefit from being a forester. Okay, taking a look at the businesses from that somebody can be involved in as a forester. So I have like about 5 here. So as a lecturer, I'll be tutoring my students on how they can be independent, even while after having left the school, how they can be producing things even from the forest and be generating some cool cash. Though I think Alex have seen some of our videos online on Pakia processing. I think somebody, okay, was it Hassan? Hassan talked about
Hassan. Yeah.
Pakia processing. Yes. So I'll be teaching students. Yes, I'll be teaching students on Pakia processing and packaging so that they can be self-employed. So, and we have the faculty has given us the go-ahead to be producing a mass and be collecting from us, paying us, and then selling to people as a faculty products. So I was given the go-ahead last week to produce a mass. The faculty even went ahead to give us stickers to be putting on these products. Not only Pakia, we were given the mandate to be producing ginger and turmeric too. Yeah. So I was so happy when the dean called me and gave me the mandate to be producing for the faculty. So this is just cool cash. I know they're able to like take it up. I know they will not have problem finding job after graduation. So aside the laboratory services, as a forester, we can involve ourselves in laboratory services. The testing for people that want to go into maybe agriculture or into plantation establishment, maybe to test the soil to know whether the soil is suitable for that particular species you are planting or not. So if you involve yourself in providing this, I think you be swimming in cool can, because it's small money for you to say you want to test your soil. So if you can, at least maybe you have to first of all train yourself to know all this, to know how to carry all these tests before you can say you want to render all these services. And aside this one, we can involve ourselves in consultancy services. Maybe to establish plantations. You might not be able to do that ourselves, but now to do all these things, then we can establish our own consultancy firm. We can also serve as a middleman to industries, providing all these raw NTFPs like Pakia, like shea butter, like this, there's what we call Aridon. This is it tetraplural, tetraptera?
Yeah.
Then all other non-forest products to industries and factories that produce all these finished goods. So you can be giving them the raw materials and they will give you cool cash. Then you can get yourself involved in interior or exterior decorations using the resources from the forest. In this case, I'm talking about wood. So you can be a wood decor, decorating maybe mainly the interior part of the house. Get yourself involved in all this. So for you to be an interior decor, you know what it takes. You have to go through training, and after the training, if you are good, I will at this stage also tell you that some of my products they are interested for forest products, like daily brick and forest products. So just order online.
I think the network is
and
bad.
your product will be dispatched involving any of this. I know. Okay, is it at my end?
Okay, please continue.
Oh, I'm really sorry about that.
Please continue.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Then the issue of GIS stuff, I have some students that are making money from this, drawing maps for people. You can actually have a firm doing that. You can establish maybe a small firm rendering such services to people. You have them to draw their maps, and you can also. I was having some people disturbing me on how they want to establish their land they bought that they don't want to use for now. So I was just telling them that I don't have time to help them. Though I was recommending some people to them, maybe they can actually get it done. So we can actually be involved in that, managing forests for people. So all these ones, I think, if you're able to just have, let's say, interest in any of these, I think we'll be able to make a living while studying forest or why being a forester.
Oh,
So, thank you.
all right. Thank you, Dr. Mrs. Sadiku, for that. Thank you for that wonderful eye opener. Such a beautiful one coming from you. Thank you so much for that lovely insight. All right. I'd like to call on my friend Elizabeth. She's joining us for the first time on Roundtable from the Netherlands. Elizabeth, you are welcome. I'd like you to share your thoughts on what we've been discussing since.
Thank you so much. My name is Elizabeth Ayuma. I'm a Kenyan, but currently studying forestry management with Hassan. Actually, we are only 2 students in our class taking forestry.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm so happy to be invited in this platform. I can say I'm an environmental enthusiast, particularly in matters related to forest and restoration. I founded an organization back in 2019, which deals with environmental conservation. And I also offer, as a side job, I do offer trainings on tree nursery establishment and management. And when you talked about how youth can use forest knowledge to not just wait for employment in the NGOs and public organizations, I think I'm one of those people who decided not to just wait. And even the course I'm doing currently, I believe it's because I had already started this. And whatever I'm learning now, it has really it has opened my mind. So when we talk about forest chain, from the producers to the consumer level, I know what happens between. I know how we can make our forest chain in Africa more sustainable to benefit both people and the planet at the same time. So it's quite an interesting topic, but I think most youths currently are still maybe disinterested in matters related to forestry, because currently youths are more, they want easy money, which is not always sustainable. So as us as change makers in this platform, I think we should take time to maybe build capacity on the importance of forestries and trees and all that, because based on statistics, I like reading actually and researching. So I noticed that we are the demand of wood, or rather forest products, are high compared to the current supply. So that's a gap that I think us youth need to think about it and see how we can not depend on other people so that we can get money. We can actually invest on this. And this way is just learning how to go about it. I know most of us come from rural communities where there are farms available. And I think it will be a good chance. You can use your farm, or rather farm at home, to plant trees. And you can also seek advice on which species to plant. Currently, eucalyptus take at least 3 years or so to be ready. When you're at school, you can invest on that. So, and when it comes to management, trees don't need that much management after they are fully grown. You just need to thin and all that management. And it's a good venture that I would really, really encourage other people to join. Now, when it comes to technology, of course, technology is good, but based on where we come from in Africa, it might not be, how would I say? It might not be effective because it's expensive. So I would go for, we use what we have currently. Come up with youth self-help, youth groups. Many youths currently are just sitting at home, They don't have anything to do, of course. They don't have jobs. What else? The youth groups can help them come up with programs. And when you come with youth groups, they are in Kenya, like I could give an example. In Kenya, there's Kenya Forest Service, which came up with a program that was giving out free tree seedlings, you see. So, and on my organization, I was trying to look for youths to participate in tree planting, and most of them were disinterested. You know, the government is giving out free tree seedlings, but you invite youth, very few of them will show up. So I think there's still need for us to build capacity, rather train youths on the importance of trees. You can also venture in trees and earn money. I train youths to plant trees. I train youth groups, or rather community organizations, to come up with tree nurseries where they can collect seeds and plant their tree. They come up with their tree nursery. From this tree nursery, they are able to sell seedlings from other people. That is an income generating project. At the same time, they plant at home. So it's a really good venture. It's just that people don't know what they need to be shown the good part of it. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Elizabeth. Thank you. I never knew you were from Kenya.
Actually, my hometown is Kakamega. When a colleague was showing the slides, I was excited, like, yay, Kakamega Environmental Education Program. That is where I come from.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Happy to connect with you. Don't worry, we further this conversation after this event with you. Thank you, Elizabeth, for joining us. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We have come to the end of this wonderful session, and I must say it's been a great one with you all. And I would like to apologize for not having our guest on board. Perhaps some things came up and he's unable to join us. Our sincere apologies that Mr. Uyi is unable to join this event. Thank you so much once again for joining us. We sincerely hope that you do join us again in the next edition of our Forestry Roundtable. Yeah, that will be the end of the year edition. I know you are all excited to be part of it, and it promises to be a great one. Sincerely, it promises to be a great one. All right. Final words from Alex.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I want to say thank you so much, Mesa and Adesula, for hosting the Nigeria Forestry Student Roundtable session since last year, and we hope to receive more of it. And I want to express my gratitude. It seems the direction which the chat today went was really a very diversified one, and I learned from every single speaker. And congratulations, Dr. Mrs. Sadiku, for the new approval gotten from the faculty. And I really love all these ideas that we are sharing. And I hope that those who will watch this video later on can get some ideas that forestry is beyond book and paper, and it's beyond trees alone. There are so many things to explore. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you. Once again, I'd like to appreciate Mr. Israel for sharing his thoughts, despite the fact that he wasn't pre-informed. He was able to bless us greatly today. Thank you so much, Mr. Israel. We hope to see more of you in the coming events. Thank you, sir. Meshach?
Yeah.
The floor is yours. Can you round up this session?
Yeah. So thanks so much, guys. Thanks so much, guys. I'm more of a person, a technology person. That is why my thinking is more directed towards that direction. So that is the part I've been exploring to ensure that I drill down to maximizing all it has to offer. Some people are in the social side, some people are in the tree planting side, some people are on the production side. You know, that's to tell you there are plenty of opportunities in this field. And my prayer is that when next year, by January, when we have the Forestry Roundtable for January, we won't just be telling stories, we'll be showing results in 2022 because results matters. Let's say I have my landscape design agency now, and all I just dropped is check my website, check the projects you have done. It's realistic than this abstract presentation, and we're going to pursue that. So it's great having everyone, and I believe we're going to make use of the information in whatever direction that we have to make use of it. So thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Once again, we must acknowledge the presence of our team members. Azan Okoyemi, thank you for joining us. Jumoke Oguntimei, thank you so much for joining us too. We sincerely appreciate your effort. We must acknowledge Samuel Ayende's contributions too for the success of this event. And lastly, before we go, we must always appreciate our hosts, IFSA. Thank you so much, IFSA, for always giving us the Zoom platform to host this event. Over a year now, we've been having a very good collaboration. It's been a great one with IFSA. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And we hope to see more of you in the December edition of our roundtable. And you can always keep your fingers crossed for a wonderful edition of this event. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. See you by December. Yeah, bye.